All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm reviewing C.J. Box, Cold Wind. This is book number 11 in his Joe Pickett murder mystery series. If you have followed my channel at all in the last 6 months, you know this is my new favorite writer, my new favorite series, probably my second or third favorite mystery series of all time. And I got a shit ton of mystery series in this massive library, people. Oh, there you can see my notes. My notes for the review. Let's put this back together. Up there, we've got my entire Joe Pickett series. You can see how all the spines match real nicely. You know I love matching spines. You know I love it when my books look great on the shelf all together. Okay, disaster averted. I almost tipped over everything in my studio. Cold Wind, book number 11. This is by far the best book about windmills, not windmills, windmills, like Cervantes, Don Quixote, windmills. This is the best book about windmills. Can't say that fucking right. This is the best book about windmills and murderous mother-in-laws that I've ever read. God, that was way too much effort to get that out. It's like a tongue twister. This video has started out as an unmitigated disaster. We will edit all of that out and start over. All right. Edit's done. Let's start over. I am reviewing C.J. Box, Cold Wind, book number 11 in the Joe Pickett murder mystery series. You know, we always talk about the covers first because I love graphic design and cover illustration. Again, we get a great New England scene up here with the snow. We get the windmills. We get the windmills, we get the windmills at the top. Great covers. Like I said, all the covers are fucking awesome for this. They're just great Wyoming scenes. Book starts out. Our main man, Joe Pickett, the game warden. He's taken his kids. You know, I followed this series from book 1. So when his daughters were really young, and I've watched them grow up throughout the series. Now Sheridan is 19, and he's taking her to college. Also on the trip, taking them to college, is 16-year-old April, who is his stepdaughter, who's kind of got an attitude. She's a bit of a goth chick, and she misbehaves a hell of a lot. And then there's 14-year-old Lucy, who Joe Pickett is starting to realize she might be turning out to be a cuter girl than ought be, because every guy on the planet is leering at my little 14-year-old daughter, and it starts to freak him out. So he's kind of like got this family life of his wife, his 3 daughters, and then his fucking mother-in-law that he's got to deal with nonstop. That's part of the reason I love this series, is because we get to see his family grow and change. And what happens is he drops his daughter off at college, then he goes off to do his job as the game warden, and he notices that there's these windmills. There's all these windmills, and he's looking at the windmills going, God, what an eyesore on the landscape. And then he notices that there's something swinging from one of the windmills. Like, what the hell is that? Then he gets closer and he notices that it's a person, a body, like swinging from the windmills. Legs splayed out, you know, like they're just like wrapped around them, and they're just swinging. And he's like, so he climbs up there, realizes it's a dead guy. And that's where the mystery starts. Who hung the dead guy from the windmill and let him spin around? That's a pretty cool way to murder someone. Really a lot of hard work to winch someone up there, because these things are high. And one of the parts I loved about this book was the description of how he climbs up there, and what a long way up it is. I mean, these are big windmills. These are big windmills. I mean, you've seen them. Everybody's seen them in the landscape. You don't want to climb those. But he has to climb it, and it's pretty harrowing. And he's like, how did they get a body up here? And how did they get him swinging from the windmill. And then anyway, when they get him down, this is the great part, was when they get the body down. First of all, he recognizes it as his mother-in-law's husband, her second, third, or fourth husband. Can't remember what number of husbands she's on, but that's part of the plot. Is this lady marries and divorces rich men like she's eating Cracker Jacks out of it. I mean, it's just like she's not a good lady, and he does not have a good relationship with her. He only puts up with her because he loves his wife, and his wife knows that she's a bit deranged and a bit of a sort of a sugar mama. Is that right? No, she's a sugar baby, even though she's old. She gets sugar daddies, is what I'm saying. But anyway, the dude swinging from the windmill is her husband, her newest husband, who's got a lot of money. He's a rich rancher. And he's swinging from the windmill, and they pull him down. And they notice that when they pull him down, like if you swing a dead body from a windmill, like a lot, all the blood goes from here down to the feet and hands and legs, and you just have a really grotesquely misshapen corpse. And that was awesome to read about. I'm just telling you right now. I loved that. Working in law enforcement, we won't get into it, but I've seen dead, but I know what he's talking about. I know how blood settles and that was just like, man, that would be a strange murder to come across. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say I would like to see it, though I'd kind of like to see it. I'm just saying, this is cool. This is one of the more bloody books in the series. They pin the murder on Joe Gunther's mother-in-law. They're like, she had the motive. She wanted to inherit the big ranch. She wanted to take his money. She's done this before. She's got a pattern of marrying rich guys and just kind of, taking a half of their shit and then, one half here, one half there. So, you got a lot of money as a lady. You know what I'm saying? And that's her pattern, and she's just not a good person. And in a way, Joe Gunther's kind of like, it's kind of cool to see this arrogant bitch go to trial for this, But in other ways, kind of like, well, it's really affecting my wife and kids because this is their grandma and their ma. And then, but he's kind of like tickled inside because through the previous 10 books, he's had a lot of history with this lady, and this lady has not been nice to him because he's just a lowly game warden in her eyes, just making, state bare minimum, state government money when she's marrying all these rich ranchers, and she's got this living the high life, and she thinks her daughter should live the high life, but she'd married this low life game warden. And so he's kind of like, please, he's like, she's finally getting what she had coming to her. But everybody knows that this lady didn't kill the guy, because how is she going to get a dude up there swinging on a windmill? One of the other side plots is our guy Nate Romanowski. He's sort of like the tough guy. He's sort of like the badass of the book. He's Joe Gunther's one of his best friends, but they have a strained relationship in the last few books and in this book. And Nate Romanowski, a side plot, is he's being hunted by these 5 killers from back east, because Nate Romanowski's got a sordid past himself. And there's tension between Nate and Joe, tension between Joe and his family because his mother-in-law is on trial. And about a third of the way through, there's just a scene in a cave that is so shockingly brutal that I was just like, what? I was not... There are some brutal things that happen in the C.J. Box books. But I'm telling you that what happens in that cave is just like, I was like, oh shit, what? Did I just read that? Oh my God. And then it's got one of the most shocking endings too. Like, you remember when you were watching Rogue One and the bomb explodes and it kills everybody, and you think that's the end of the movie? But then there's about 2.5 minutes of the movie left where Darth Vader shows up and just kicks the ever-loving out of everybody. That's kind of the way this one ends. You think it's over. You think everything's over. And then, oh my God, Joe Pickett. And I hope I've been calling him Joe Pickett the whole time. I just read a Archer Mayer novel where the lead detective is Joe Gunther. I get him confused a lot. Anyway, Joe Pickett is, where was I? Yeah, he finds another clue which changes the entire ending. And I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that at all. And I loved this book specifically for the gore, the crazy murder scene, and the shocking ending. The double shocking ending. Because the first ending was shocking. And then the second ending was double shocking. Loved it. And I love these books. This is another 10 out of 10 stars for me, folks. I love these Joe Pickett novels.